Well, welcome. We're going to introduce you to our soft lead into a new podcast. And the podcast was going to be named something different.
Doctor Strange.
That's pretty good. But it's taken. Wait, I got it.
Yeah, licensed. And that is DD&DT, so I'll introduce us. And this is DD, otherwise known as Dallin Duvall, and the DT is Dr. Tom. We met about 3 years ago while at work, realizing that we had like this similar sense of humor, similar ways of thinking. There is a little bit of an age gap between us, but one of us is a millennial. Now, I'm not saying which one, but...
Flip a coin to find out.
Yeah. So it was just an interesting thing to find that we had such similarities in the things that we observe and view, and one day we just said like, oh, you know what? We're watching these podcasts. We should be doing this, and
We can do that.
yeah, bring something to the people, the listeners, so that they can come away with something. A little bit of background about myself. I was a paratrooper, which makes me invincible, and then I also worked as a massage therapist for 30 years plus, and also as a chiropractor. So having those backgrounds, in addition to studying the martial arts since I was 12, and continuing to do that, Dal, and
I'm a millennial, so that pretty much makes me an expert in just about everything. Doesn't matter my education level or resume, what's on the resume, work-related history. It's just when I was born, I'm good. I am a Life Scout because I didn't let my parents do my service project.
our intention through the podcast is, it's an acronym that I came up with. It's the PIE method. So we're looking to promote individuals and businesses, give information, and entertain.
Are you not entertained?
As best we can, as it comes along. But
We're multitasking, we're men here.
yeah, we can do that. Maybe not as good as women, but
And that's why we will have women featured in the podcast at some point, just to be like, hey, boys, let's show you how multitasking is actually done. You guys don't know what you're doing.
and we might have to hire a woman or something somewhere along the line. In the vein of the promotion, we're stationed out of the Carolinas, South Carolina in particular. Give people in our area a chance to come out and meet us personally, and also give the local businesses a little bit of play. And you might even find something that you're looking for that you need in the way of somebody's craft, trade, or services. So that's one of our goals, is to do that. We'll also be talking about things in the informing concept. We want to bring things out as far as like everything, for basic needs, whether it be food, clothing, shelter, health, cooking, man stuff.
Various skills and masculine, but also, things women can do too.
Which is another thing. Part of the nutrition aspect is the growing of our foods. Just bring us back, farming, nature, hunt, gather, pick up little things, get your feet back into the woods, into the earth, take your shoes off, stand in the grass. And
We're going to go green, but in a different manner of speaking.
hopefully everybody will take a couple minutes every day and participate. We'll be doing Dr. Tom's next method. Now, I can't use next because apparently that's trademarked through like 23 different other companies, but I'll still use it.
As long as you don't say try and claim.
Right, I don't own it. It's an acronym that I pulled out for nutrition, exercise, ecstatic feelings, and thoughts. So we'll do different exercises throughout each podcast, taking people through, cycles of breathing, meditation, movement, ways of thinking, gratitudes, just perceptions, ways to look at life a little differently. I had a wake up call. So being a paratrooper, you were invincible, immortal. It wasn't a heart attack or anything. It was that I experienced a weakness in
your legs.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had an injury in which I tore calf muscles and formed a blood clot, and took a good 60 days to get over everything. To make sure that it was completely cleared out and healed. And I realized at that moment, like, wow, that came on unexpectedly, and it's time to go back to basics and bring back the health. But I said, like, well, if I'm just going to go back to the basics and bring back to where I was, why don't I just push it to where I could be? But ideally, I'm going to go through the steps as I go through it myself in order to recapture my eternal youthful self one day at a time, just improving every day. And so, like, I'm going to invite you to join along with some of the exercises. And future podcasts, we look to bring in some different ways to entertain as well. We are kind of like we do like movies, kind of movie buffs.
Oh yeah, right. Because when you say entertain, I'm just thinking like, oh, if they're not smiling or laughing, then we've lost them, and it's more than that. But as we do this some more, then we'll incorporate some more humor if we're not doing enough of that.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. We'll make fun of each other and ourselves. Don't sit and be critical of that. That's just because you can laugh at yourself. And there was a wise man once said, "You'll know evil because it can't laugh at itself," which is telling for the past couple of years.
Which wise man said that?
Well, I'll show you. I got to pull his book up and I'll show you. People sometimes either take themselves too seriously, or they're having mental breakdowns and all this other stuff that's going on right now. And, they don't see themselves as being a comedic piece right there and where they should.
So, well, oftentimes here at work, if you're not laughing, you're crying, which I think there's more than two emotions to that.
All right, I'm going to lunch. 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
But I mean, you got to have your way of coping, release something, and something that we do to express ourselves and survive through each day is, look in the mirror and laugh at yourself.
Or the other people.
Which we're going to do. I mean, if people want to poke fun, they're welcome to poke fun as well. We're just going to go both ways.
That's right.
We'll duke it out, dish it out, and invite you to do the same with us.
Well, it's kind of like our breakfast club. Break balls and break bread.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You choose to be offended.
Notice that our colleagues would all take the break at the same time and sit together, and everybody was kind of distant, quiet, sitting at the same table and not interacting. And I saw this opportunity and stimulated it first by calling it the Breakfast Club, and then making a lot of noise.
It's caught on. Everyone's calling it that now.
Yeah. People come and observe us.
Right. It's like they know we're there and they don't want to sit with us, but they still take their breaks at the same time. Coincidence?
Yeah.
Or not? So they're there, but they're distanced themselves, so they're not exactly involved, but they still want to hear us. And it's become such a highlight of the day, highlight of the week, and such a, I forgot what term you use about, it's something about enjoyment. Kaleidoscope of enjoyment. Or they are cutting in and saying, you can't do that anymore. And they'll be timing us and spying on us. And again, I won't give names, but, we've had so much joy in making work joyful that people don't join in and got to ruin it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying earlier about how much we love our jobs and why limit it to, I'm just going to say retail. We're going to branch out and allow others to be their own kaleidoscope. There we go. Be your own kaleidoscope of enjoyment.
That's right.
Share it.
With the entertaining part, you may hear us laugh at ourselves, and that's an important thing, is like not to take ourselves too seriously, even though we may have some serious things that we're discussing. It's like we may still try to lighten it mid-conversation or pick out something about ourselves, and that's just, something that might be irony, a weakness that we're working to clear out, or just poking fun at ourselves, and that's okay. There's a whole world outside, and I'd like to see people back into it, into each other, and just evolving instead of devolving into a recluse society where everybody's a victim. So instead, we want to open up and have everybody be communal. And we're looking to launch on, or I guess the launch date would be.
I think I understand why they say coming soon.
Yeah.
When they announce movies, I've had greater respect now when people come up with their own creativity and art, not just limited to movies, but books, music, and whatnot, because of all these technicalities and all these hurdles that come into it. Yeah, let's not define a date, because we've defined a date multiple times and we've seen how well that's worked out.
6 or 11 times over. We've had trademark issues that held us back a little bit.
Weeding out the weak. Especially during this time. I did not believe in Mercury Retrograde. Never heard of it till you brought it up to me, and it's just like, it makes sense.
Yeah. And so for those of you listening, we started this process to try to launch during the Mercury Retrograde. Bad timing. And if you're familiar with it at all, it's kind of it's a time period where Mercury appears to be going backwards in the skies. Whether it's a true thing or it's just the fact that there's probably out of 8 billion people, there may be 1 billion people who are familiar with it and believe in it so strong that they project it, the effects of it, meaning that, you'll have computer glitches, problems with electronics, contracts that'll go bad, scheduling will go awry, and people either show up on times they're not supposed to, or they won't show up when they are supposed to. It's that type of thing that happens during this, during the retrogrades.
I will jokingly call Mondays Murphy Law Monday, and it's anything or everything that could go wrong does happen. Yeah. And it's an exaggeration. It's not entirely true, but it's like all the little things that do go wrong, and they build up and pile up.
It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and it's Publishers Clearinghouse. All right.
And when you don't have control of your emotions, and you get in your head space and want to find something to blame. So I've been blaming Mercury.
Yeah, it's a good one to blame. It's easy.
Need a scapegoat. Amongst Mercury retrograde, and people have this mentality of, you go into a new year, new me, or new year, new you. And here we are a couple weeks into January. So this isn't a judgment call out by any means, but it's like, where are you at with your resolutions? Are you still going strong? Have you had some slip ups? Have you given up? But why limit it to, we wanted to launch this a while ago, and as we've been going through the hurdles of making this possible, there's been setbacks. But why, instead of waiting until next January, like, okay, this didn't work out, let's start over the first next year.
Right.
No, we both love our jobs way too much to do that. I think, along with where we met, we're both very, very passionate about our jobs, and we're both like, why limit our passion for this retail job?
He's joking.
I all gifts come from a higher being, and all challenges come from the same higher being. You don't you don't grow and you don't learn if you don't have problems in front of you. And in the long run, when you look back at it and see that you've become better for it, it's a gift in disguise.
Exactly right. Yeah. So if you didn't have the challenges, you never have the pressure, the tension that says like, oh, I did it even in spite of what I was, facing. And again, it wasn't anything life or death, but it challenged you to your word. When we say like, oh, we'd like to open by this date, somebody's in our way,
Technical difficulties or
legal processes or something, they have their date timelines to start and do things, and
you can do this, but you can't do that. Right. Or you got to do this, but you can't do it that way.
Right. And trademarks take 2 years. What?
We've already started. We got the head start. But good luck trying to, what was it, fast track? We were concerned about that.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's probably
fast track.
Unlikely.
Yeah. Instead of 2.5 years, it can be done in 2. What? That's fast track? Yeah.
Money talks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the truth there on that too.
Yeah.
Even though they disconnected us when we talked about it.
Right. They've been very professional for the most. Well, we won't go into all that, but there was a time where I think you were mid-sentence and just cut off. And,
they pulled the plug.
You know what it felt like when I was trying to make my food order in that restaurant at one time. They took yours and the weather apps, and then it got to me, just walked away when I was in the middle of speaking.
Well, we got our drinks.
I didn't even touch my water. We're about to go see Avatar 2, and over 3 hours, so preparation motive. I'm not going to consume anything because I don't want to get up. We're going to share things that we like and what we find best. Share concepts and invite others to get involved and do the same thing. Share their interests and why we should care and what works for them, what doesn't work for them.
Because everyone functions differently, so what one thing works for one person is not going to work for another. That opens up for you to share with us, share with others, to
please do
be your best self.
Looking forward to seeing everybody real soon. Get ready to actually experience and do along with us.
Enough time for action.
Yeah, share the journey.
That's right. It's a journey that we are going on as individuals together, Dr. T and I, and you as an audience. And it's all about bettering ourselves and learning each day and do better as individuals and branch out to our families, to our communities, to eventually the world.
Yes. But for now,
starts with baby steps. It starts with you. What can you do?
It is right. And look for us on various social medias. I think Double D's going to have us on.
Work in progress. It's coming soon. Coming soon, the Kaleidoscope of enjoyment.
6 or 11 more days.
6 or 11 hours, 6 or 11 weeks. We will get others involved, and everyone's got a different taste of a sense of humor, different interests. So allow them to educate us and you on why should we care. There's a lot we want to do, and we are learning as we go along. We'll see where this goes. You've got a wide vision, and I'm going to widen mine as well.
Wow. Well, thanks. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
It's that beautiful eyes of mine. Good vision. Say.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Make it a great day.
Yeah.